How's everybody doing? I'm so sorry I took a while to do part two, but you have to understand that it's January and I registered to go back to school. I'm doing my master's, PhD, working towards that at Columbia, doing my courses in anthropology. So I had to do that, and oh Lord, I mean, if I don't get this done, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I gotta get this done. I haven't been able to get this done, and I gotta get this done. Well, anyway, I had to do that, and then of course I got charts and consultations that I'm doing, and sometimes that takes me away from doing this, and I'm the only one that can do it. I cannot have a substitute. And even though I have other astrologers that work below me, many people really prefer that I do the readings. So that's just how it is. So we're going to do part two. We're going to jump right in because we have a lot to cover about cardinal water and cardinal fire. Cancer and Aries part two. And I talked about generalities in part one. General behavior or undertones, particularly dealing with Aries, right? Because I've spoken a lot about Cancer. And there's still a lot more to talk about when it comes to Miss Cancer or Mr. Cancer. That's a little better, right? Okay. So yeah, today is Friday. Today is the day of Oshun. As you know, I'm a child of Oshun. So, you gotta have a beer, you gotta have everything in place, everything intact. Okay, we're gonna jump right in and we're gonna continue talking about Aries and Cancer, two cardinal signs, and it still falls under the compatibility of signs. And I know a lot of people send me a lot of letters and notes about that. Oh my God, how could they be compatible? In fact, I got a lot of feedback from people that don't find this compatible. With this combination, I gotta tell you, there's a lot of factors involved. Age, level of education, level of maturity. All of that is really important. It has nothing to do with astrology, but it has to do with the natural flow of human development. Other things being equal, if you grew up in a dysfunctional family or in an abusive environment as a child, that's going to affect how you are going to develop and how that's going to become the bedrock of how you're going to formulate relationships in the future with people, intimate as well as platonic ones. If there is abuse and trauma in the background of individuals with this combination, then it's not going to be the archetypical book format archetype that it should be. It'll be a morphed or warped interpretation of what it should be, because other things weren't equal. There was abuse. Whenever there is abuse in childhood, it really changes the entire game. And Aries is no longer a regular Aries under sexual abuse or physical abuse. A Cancer is no longer a Cancer growing up normally, if there's sexual abuse or trauma in the childhood. It really does create a parallel reality that has nothing to do with the signs of the zodiac, but it may have a lot to do with the path that was given to you, chosen for you to follow. And not all paths are pleasant, not all paths are nice. Some people are born with karma, some people are bounded by other people through karma. So you never really know, So this is one of those combinations where if you're not at a certain age, and don't have a certain level of education and exposure, this can be and you don't have the art of discipline and self-control. Remember, we're dealing with two cardinal signs, and the cardinal signs, they like to third shit and start shits. They are the movers and shakers of the zodiac. So if you don't have proper guidance from the beginning in how to funnel and harness and make constructive use of these energies, then it can become pathological towards you, towards your partner, and then, of course, towards society. It's not always good when there is trauma. It doesn't matter what signs and what compatibility or incompatibility is involved. Whenever there is trauma, it really does alter the course of the destiny of the couple or of the person, and therefore, if it's of the person, that extends towards the couple. Because what's going to happen is that kind of person who's been wounded and traumatized is going to attract to his or her vibration the same conditions of the same trauma that person experienced. And then the cycle, you get stuck into a spiral cycle that you can't get out of. Unless there's psychological awareness of the abuse, and then you can stop the chain and cut it within your generation. Okay, so understand that with this combination, there's a lot going on. Okay, if we put Aries on one scale and Cancer on the other scale, opposites attract. That's number one. Opposites attract. Aries is brash and harsh. Okay, his emotional excitability can frighten Miss Cancer. Cancer is sensitive and emotional. Okay, Aries can be emotional as well, but he can be over the top emotionally, which can frighten the Miss Cancer if we're dealing with an Aries man and a Cancer woman. Cancer, whether it's the man or the woman, they like to take their time when they are getting to know you. Okay, they like to move very carefully and slowly when they want to move forward in formulating a form of connection with you. Okay, they like to discover people. They don't want to rush through that. They want to find out who you are. So they're going to kind of take their time and kind of savor the experience, savor the moment, every single moment that they are with you. Okay? They like to discover people and like to be very interpersonal. Okay, Aries can be terrifyingly overexcited. Okay, and this can mess up the sensitivity of Cancer. Okay, according to the mythological archetypes, because then we have to go into the mythological archetypes of the two. Okay, this couple ought to do quite well because they really do. Okay, Aries can play the hero and go out and conquer life, right? While Cancer welcomes the base of she creates the home base for her hero that's out in battle to come to her. Okay, when he goes out and fight, she's preparing the home for him. So then he comes back from the war and he is welcomed by his woman that has his food ready, his bath and everything, and then the pleasures of the bedroom in the evening, and that makes the evening complete for her hero, for her man, Aries, that comes from the battlefield, getting ready to be nursed back to good health and then get a little honey in the process. You have to look at it that way. But you know what? We can look at some more current examples. Remember the TV show Leave It to Beaver? Right? Leave It to with June Cleaver. She's the one with the housewife with the picket white fence, and then Ward Cleaver with the suitcase. He goes out to work, and then he comes home to the beautiful with a home baked cake, or the Barbara Billingsley, which plays June Cleaver, brings the pie over, with her apron looking all cute, the house is clean, everything, that's Cancer. Cardinal water. Her fortress is the home. And Ward, of course, is Aries. And by the way, Hugh Beaumont, who actually played Ward Cleaver, he's an Aries. In reality, he's an Aries. So it was perfect It was perfect. You playing it. I used to love that show. What's another show that mirrors the same kind of archetype? Okay. Let's go back. Let's think. There is another one. Make Room for Daddy. Now, the millennials are not going to know these shows. These are shows when I was growing up that I used to watch. And these shows were from the 1950s. Make Room for Daddy was another Cancer and Aries, situation. Family Affair. Oh, come on. That show, you don't know because you're too young. Unless you're my generation, you understand what I'm talking about. The man was out conquering and he had the kids and the wife with the phone. I mean, it's beautiful. The woman is taking care of the root of the family by providing love and nurture. And then you have the man out there conquering the world and bringing the spoils to the feet of the Cancer woman for her to establish and continue the sense of continuity. It becomes a team. So the best way to describe this combination is that it is a team. But there's a lot of passion between Aries and Cancer. But it's very undertone. Very undertone. Okay? Understand that. So the compatibility of Aries and Cancer really depends also on the individual birth charts. The individual birth chart will give you an indicator as to how they can make peace with these energies. There is a water and a fire star sign combination. This is a water and a fire star sign combination. What happens when you add water to fire? You get the steam. And this relationship can certainly be both sensual, steamy, with lots of passion and lots of sex. You see these movies where the man looks into the woman's eyes and she just blends her body and her everything to his eyes and to his body. She responds to her. One of them, Greta Garbo, Humphrey Bogart, or Clark Gable. He's looking at you, kid. And giving that. Well, that's Humphrey Bogart. But they're giving you that epic look into each other's eyes, and then they collapse into each other, and then they kiss. You seen movies like that. That's Aries and Cancer. They are irresistible to each other. I love it. I love talking about these two as a combination. They're absolutely, it's one of those black and white pictures with the frames that you go to these ancient restaurants and you have these pictures of these people that are just kissing each other and just looking into each other's eyes. The man strong and forceful with his black tuxedo and bow tie, and the woman is just blending into him. Like if she could be consumed by his breath, she would. Wonderful. You know what I'm talking about. The archetype. Now, that is the combination of Cancer and Aries. Aries is irresistible, and you cannot resist him. And the woman just succumbs to the powerful force of masculinity as she collapses like a star collapses to gravity. She collapses into his arms. That is the beauty of Cancer and Aries. Absolutely beautiful. Oh my goodness. Ooh. This combination most definitely works when the couples are much older. When they know each other very well. Now, what happens with other things in the relationship, with the details, the minutia of it all? You have to understand that beyond the bedroom, brash and bold Aries can easily dominate the gentle Cancer. Foolish is the Aries person who tries to take advantage of this perceived weakness in Cancer, though. Because there's nothing weak about this woman. Although he's going to think that he can take advantage of her because she appears weak. He knows her intense sexual pleasures and desires towards men is something that he can fulfill. But he thinks that this is her weakness. No, it's not. Miss Cancer can enjoy a good dick, but that don't mean that she's going to be swayed by one. That's the cardinality of Cancer. You know, Aries is the one that does the slang. You know, all right, that's your cardinality, but you're not going to slay this chick like you think you will. Very different. You know, and that reality can slap Aries, pow, right in the kisser by surprise. You're like, what the fuck? You know. Yes. Yes. Oh my God. This is why I love Cancer. What a hell of a cardinal sign Cancer is. Because there is no way that you're going to surpass her or undermine her or dominate her or control her. If anything, she will flip you. And she knows quite how to do that pretty well. I don't fuck with Cancer, let me tell you. You think Scorpio is something? Be careful with Cancer. And you know, Aries is quite reckless and quite irresponsible, and he doesn't pay attention to detail. So if we're talking about who's the boss, we're gonna have to go with Miss Cancer. Because remember, Aries is still the baby. The baby. So it's not gonna really work. No. You know, the Aries man's attention span is too short. And he's too intolerant to compromise. He has to bulldoze his way into a negotiation. He doesn't have the tact and diplomacy. Not that he cannot develop it though, but he just doesn't want to use it because he wants what he wants. He wants to get his way. He denies the opposite polarity of Aries, which is Libra, the sign of cooperation and compromise. Aries want nothing to do with that. He wants it the way he wanted, how he wanted, and fuck you if you got a problem with it. But the thing is that Cancer will always have a problem with that. But if she's in love with this man, she will find a way to subdue the Aries and bring him under, rein him in. She will know how to rein him in. Given the cardinal action nature of both Aries and Cancer, compatibility will be at least, what can I say? It will be at least be worked on with this couple in a way that it will never be easy, but it can be mutual. It can generate respect for each other, because you know cardinals admire strength. And they respect strength. So they're going to respect that in each other. That's a strong plus point to give this partnership a tenacity. Because fire and water combination lacks a lot of tenacity. And that might be true about, you know, water and fire. But if we're talking about cardinal fire and cardinal water, then that's different. There is plenty of activity. There is plenty of interaction that can occur and does happen. Where the couple can take time to listen to one another and really understand each other's points of view, there is more of a promise. Because it's also about taking the time to understand each other. Okay, Cancer has a knack of seeing the insecurity beneath Aries' outward confidence, and Aries can, when they choose, be very considerate of Cancer's sensitivities. But just because Aries is considerate of Cancer's sensitivity doesn't mean that his ego will not be bruised if the Cancer woman gets to see the real vulnerability behind that pomposity that he often portrays. So with this combination, it really depends on the level of maturity. Yeah, coming from the man. Yeah, coming from the man, yeah. Absolutely. Otherwise, the relationship Instead of being a relationship where both can love each other and be secure with each other, it becomes a battleground of self-discoveries of their negative and positive selves through the art of metamorphosis of discovering each other. It doesn't always have to be this way. If you know who you are as a person, it's most likely that you can sustain a relationship. Doesn't matter what level of the relationship needs to be sustained, you can do it. But if you don't know yourself and you're still young and you're not in a relationship with of this combination, it can really spiral out of control pretty quickly. Again, depending on the level of maturity. The Aries man will certainly be cheating, not regarding or respecting the virtues of Cancer and needing that monogamy coming from her. But then again, it can be the other way around, where she can be so insatiable that she can explore sexuality beyond her man just to see how much she knows or is about concerning sex. Because, Cancer is a sign of self-discovery as well. And I guess we all go through these phases of self-discovery, you know and going through one boyfriend or going through boyfriends and girlfriends. Sometimes that's part of the process, which is why this combination really is for people who are far more mature. Now, the mythology of both Aries and Cancer also deals with the hero and the wife holding the hero back. So, for example, if we look at the Trojan War, the mythology of the Iliad, or the Aeneid, and the fact that at some point, I forgot the name of the characters at the moment, but the mythology of Aries and Cancer together is that of the woman holding back the hero, not wanting the hero to go out into war and fight and be killed. So she's a widow and child. And that was a very important issue in the Hellenistic world back, going back now 5,000 to 7,000 years. It was important for the wife to revere her husband, especially if he goes out into war and fights for his country, never returns, dies in